Sourcing products from India can offer unique opportunities for you as an Amazon seller. In this video, you will learn how Qalara simplifies the process of sourcing home and lifestyle and many other products from India, offering customization options and low minimum order quantities. If you feel like sourcing products from India would be a good fit for your e-commerce business, contact Qalara for further help, and all the links you will find below in the description. Hello, Aditi. It's nice to have you here. Before we talk about Qalara and how you help Amazon sellers, maybe you can introduce yourself and tell us a little bit your background so that we know who is behind this company.
Sure. Thank you, Augustus. It's a pleasure to speak with you today and through your platform to Amazon sellers around the world. A little bit about myself. I think like many nerdy Indians, I'm an engineer by education, and then went to pursue an MBA at Stanford University in the US. So I've spent a couple of years and have some understanding of that market. Professionally, I've actually worked in the retail industry for over 15 years, first in brick and mortar. And then I started a fashion e-commerce company within a corporate setup here, which has since actually grown to be more than $1 billion. So I have experienced the challenges of sourcing and merchandising firsthand from a retailer perspective, and especially within an e-commerce context. So the importance of getting products to your warehouse on time, the importance of monitoring inventory levels, ensuring there aren't stockouts, figuring out your OTBs, ensuring quality consistency so that your ratings and feedback are propelling the algorithms correctly, tracking competition, all of that. I empathize very deeply with your audience. But while I was doing that, Augustus, I began to see some of the economic shifts, definitely the expansion of marketplaces and digital distribution around the world, thanks to the like of Amazon and Shopify, and also cross-border commerce. And I felt that there was a massive opportunity at that time, to sort of have an offering from India that enables these merchants and these sellers on these platforms to source from India in a way that is convenient, in a way that leverages e-commerce, and in a way that brings in some aggregation efficiencies. The Alibabas have been around for a long time. Trade fairs have been around for a long time, but India wasn't really offering something for the new age economy. And India itself has witnessed a lot of growth in the last decade, both in terms of e-commerce as well as in terms of its economy growing to become the 5th largest in the world today. And I felt the timing was very right. So I started Qalara about 4 years ago as a sourcing and supply chain company. And we are headquartered here in Bangalore, which is kind of the Silicon Valley of India. But I think despite being a relatively younger company, Augustus, what's very interesting about us is that we are part of Reliance Industries, which is actually India's largest company. It is India's largest retailer. It's a Fortune 500 or a Fortune 100 company, depending on the dollar. But it serves 300 million customers in India alone. And therefore, of course, we are able to leverage this massive supply chain, and both in terms of manufacturing and logistics. And that makes us as a group actually the largest sourcing network in India. And that's the power we are sort of backed by.
So kind of this company is a daughter company of the big retailer in India. Oh, it's nice.
That's right.
And so in, let's say, 1 or 2 sentences, how you would describe Qalara if you meet in some conference seller, how you would say, like, very quickly that people understand what you do?
So I would say that Qalara helps small to medium-sized retailers, resellers, merchants, wholesalers, importers source home and lifestyle products from India in a way that is extremely hassle-free, cost-efficient. And I think especially for private label sellers, helps them source unique products with their own branding. So it's truly a label brand, starting at MOQs as low as 50 pieces.
That sounds really attractive. So can you walk us through a little bit through your process? How do you manage to simplify, like how does it look if someone starts working with you?
Sure. There are so many steps involved in managing sourcing, right? Whether you're big or small, you have to figure out what products to buy, where to buy it from, who to buy it from, vet your options, validate prices, negotiate, make sure your quality expectations are understood, make sure your delivery timelines are understood, make sure your product specifications translates, and then figuring out logistics, freight costs, especially during these volatile times, and hoping that it all gets to the warehouse on time. And it's a lot of work. And large companies like IKEA, Walmart, Target, they have sourcing offices, whether it's in China or India, many of them in Bangalore, in fact, not very far from us. And then there are others like Anthropologie, Williams-Sonoma, others who work with agents who kind of do that. We primarily exist for mid-sized and smaller merchants and retailers, but we operate like an extended sourcing team for them. And we combine kind of an e-commerce platform in the front end for their interaction with us, with all of the thing that goes behind the scenes, end to end, from product discovery to pricing to production monitoring to quality inspections to packaging to logistics and delivery. So it's like a one-stop shop, master supplier taking care of everything. And that's why we say we simplify sourcing, and we primarily exist for the smaller to mid-sized buyers. And we're able to do that because we have a large network of manufacturers we work with. We have fairly sophisticated freight and duties calculator also available on our website. We have on-ground teams that do production kickoffs, do all the inspections. We actually pick up the goods through our own transportation team, consolidate it, ship it out like the exporter on record. We have contracted rates with the shipping liners. So we have more predictability of pricing that we quote to our buyers. And so it's really simplifying it because you have kind of one person to deal with, as opposed to having to deal with many different vendors, and then also dealing with logistics partners here in India, then the last mile logistics back in the US. All of that coordination is cut down through the process, through our website, and directly. We keep buyers informed about every stage from order confirmation till delivery. Apart from all of this, because we're kind of e-commerce geared and oriented, we also have other value-added services in terms of allowing them to do, doing photo shoots and content sheets and things like that for them, so that it's kind of ready to go live as soon as it hits, the warehouse. We offer net terms based on certain criteria and so on and so forth. So yeah, really, we exist to kind of be a one-stop shop for them.
I'm really surprised you even do photo shooting. It's really, really useful because when people are waiting, sellers are waiting for goods to arrive through the ships or airplanes, they can already start creating listings. And earlier you mentioned that your processes are cost efficient. You already said that you have like good contracts with logistics, with other service providers. So this is where you try to kind of minimize, to lower the costs comparing to if somebody's sourcing themselves or using other service.
Actually, Augustus, there's much more to it. We do get asked that because we are not a manufacturer, right? And logically, it seems like, isn't it best to go to the source, right? No one ever wants to work with a middleman or a middlewoman. So why us, right? The reason is that there are multiple ways that we're able to actually save costs for our buyers. And the main reason is that we're not just a transactional middleman agent, with due respect. As a group, we are actually the country's largest buyer. We have capabilities across design, quality, sampling, our own testing labs, like I mentioned, pan-India presence, our own logistics, very strong banking, the whole gamut, which allows us to add value much greater than what we actually capture. So it's a little bit like, imagine if a Walmart was going to the manufacturer to negotiate on your behalf, right? So even from a product pricing standpoint, because we aggregate demand across so many buyers, we are able to negotiate better prices as opposed to, let's say, someone going directly to a manufacturer. Not to undermine smaller businesses, who've been doing this for a very long time. But it's just the sheer negotiating leverage that we have. Also, because we work with so many vendors, we have pricing intelligence that's not limited to maybe a few vendors that one can discover during a trade fair or during some discovery mission, right? So we have wider pricing intelligence, and all of this helps us get better ex-factory costs. So that's one. Second, yes, in terms of logistics, again, our parent company actually contributes to more than 10% of India's exports. So it has the largest volume of containers going out of the country. And that's why we have direct rates, and we work directly with the shipping liners, not with freight forwarders. So Maersk, MSC, all the big companies, we have direct contracts. In fact, Maersk actually sits in the Reliance office. And that gives us at least 25 to 30% advantage over market rates generally. And also importantly, when rates are very volatile, we get more predictability because of contracted rates. So we are able to give a predictable landed price to our customers. So they have no surprises once goods are ready that, oh no, freight prices have gone up and now, my margins don't work anymore, right? Of course, there are some very unusual times like COVID or some situations, but by and large, relatively speaking, we have much more predictability. And third is, because we're a master supplier and we're not an agent, which means that even if production is happening across multiple factories, we actually consolidate everything and we ship it out as a single shipment, which in itself brings efficiencies in freight costs. And finally, I would say that we also save on overheads for the buyer, because they no longer have to deal with multiple vendors and have a logistics team that is then coordinating with all the logistics, and then maybe appointing a quality agency to do all the inspections. And so actually a company can operate with a much tighter, leaner team. So all in all, even though we add our margin on the ex-factory cost, never on the freight, we are very, very confident that the landed price that we offer to our buyers will be much better than if they were to go directly to the manufacturer. Unless you're an IKEA or a Walmart, then it's best done directly.
Yeah, sounds really good. It's so attractive that you have these kind of bulk contracts or bulk possibilities of ordering things in quantity. And if someone decides to work with you, in what categories, what product categories can you help them to source some items?
Sure. So currently we deal in products across homewares, lifestyle products, including pets, toys, and personal accessories. And we also deal in fashion, so apparel and fashion accessories as well. In homewares, which is where we started, we do practically everything across decor, kitchen, dining, living, home office, outdoor, garden, pretty much everything. Fashion is relatively new. So you won't find a lot of selection on our website, but we actually span across men's, women's, kids, in knitteds and wovens. It's my background, I'm very, very familiar with that category. And in pets and toys, of course, we do, again, a lot of all of the accessories, pet feeders, gates, bowls, toys, kids. We do nursery decor, toys as well, but mostly wooden and eco-friendly toys. And we do this across a very wide range of materials. So wood, metal, stone, marble, paper mache, recycled plastics, waste materials, plant-based fibers, cane, bamboo, grasses, a lot of textiles that India is known for, cottons, recycled polyesters, blends, jute, a lot more. And then, of course, this is all reflective of what India's strength is, vis-a-vis China. Again, even in terms of manufacturing, India's strength is a lot more in the labor-intensive manufacturing. So that's where we kind of also tend to operate and specialize.
Yeah, I think maybe we could now jump to your website, because you mentioned all these categories. I know this website doesn't represent everything you can help with, all the sellers, but if they visit your website, they could obviously find all the categories of products you are specializing in. So basically what you have mentioned. Of course, on this website, you can people can get contact with the expert, sourcing expert. What is your idea of this website? What do you expect sellers to get from this when they visit? Is it, yeah, in what cases it's the best to use the website? In what cases it's best maybe to contact you via email?
Thanks for showing our website, Augustus. I would recommend everyone to go to our website because through our website, there are different ways to interact and engage with Qalara. We have, almost 100,000 products on our website, but like I said, we're not limited to that. So there are many different ways that someone can actually use our website and through our website, shop in different ways. So first is if you're a small buyer, you want to just try out something in a smaller way, you can, of course, browse our products. You can see we have home decor, home textiles, kitchen and dining, some amount of fashion accessories, and so on and so forth. You can always view those products, create collections, because we understand how buyers actually shop. You might be creating a spring summer 24 collection. You might be creating like a festive winter collection, or maybe a Mother's Day collection, and so on. So you can create collections, or you can just add to cart, and then you can proceed to checkout. We do actually enable 4 currencies from our website today, so USD, AUD, GBP, as well as euros. But if you also want to shop, if you want to get something that is customized, or you want to tweak it a little bit, you want your own sizes, maybe your own colors, your own finishes, or your own packaging, you can also come to our site, make a collection or select a few products and submit a request for quote with any special requirements in terms of customization. And at that point, an account manager gets assigned, and then we can submit line sheets for you to review, again, all via this platform. And then, you can sort of give us feedback on prices that work for you, or that you wanted some color changes, or you wanted some size changes. And then we can actually, go back and forth. And then again, you can proceed. We can even make a customized quotation for you. And then it will be available on your sort of line sheet private view, and then you can check out using PayPal or using other means of payments. And then finally, if you just want to, not commit to too much, and you just want to speak to a human being and get some advice, because sometimes I can understand, shopping from a new platform or shopping from a new country, there might be some apprehension. There's people behind this. It's not sort of, a site that just kind of runs on its own. It's not a marketplace site. So you can actually click on this button that Augustus is showing to you right now, speak to a sourcing expert, and book an appointment at a convenient time. And then one of our sourcing experts and sourcing managers will get in touch with you and you can have a conversation and then they'll guide you from then on. So there's various different ways to interact with us. We try and sort of cater to different buyers' requirements.
I think it's a good reference point for sellers to just browse your page and see, to get a feel what you can offer them. And obviously, if they don't find something they are seeking for, best when they talk to you directly. And
Right.
yeah, you are specializing in sourcing from India, from your country where you live. And most sellers are, of course, sourcing from China. It's long, like, it's a historically the best place to get their products. Maybe you can give some tips or recommendations what sellers should look at when they are thinking of sourcing from India versus China.
Sure. Augustus, you're right. I mean, I think China has sort of, been the manufacturing capital of the world, right? And I think to a large extent that was fueled by also its own economy growing and, historically sort of its labor advantage and so on and so forth. And I think India is sort of at that cusp where China was maybe like, 10, 15 years ago. Today, India is the fifth largest economy. By 2027, or by the end of this decade, it's expected to be the third largest economy after US and China. And it has the world's largest labor pool. So it actually positions India, in the next decade to become a very attractive alternative sourcing epicenter, in addition to China, of course. But there are some strengths that India has, which are inherent. One is in natural resources and natural materials that India works with that I talked about earlier. Also, as I mentioned, labor-intensive processes. We do have labor cost advantage vis-a-vis China and even Vietnam today. So that means that labor-intensive processes, we get better sort of rates from that angle. India is also very aggressively pursuing, free trade agreements with a lot of countries. So with Australia, we signed one recently. With the Middle East, we've signed one recently. Very close to signing one with the UK as well as EU. And but even aside from that, actually, in a lot of the categories that we operate in, our duty structures are pretty low, even into the US, where we don't have a free trade agreement. So a lot of, for instance, wooden products will be 0 to 5%, right, in terms of duties. Likewise, a lot of products will be, not more than 5 to 7 to 10%, very few crossing that double-digit mark. So it's already kind of relatively favorable as a trade partner. But I think when you think about India in terms of materials and categories, I would definitely say in textiles, cottons were, India is the largest producer of cotton in the world. India is the largest producer of jute in the world. These are two categories of materials that India is very good at. Even in apparel, actually, India is becoming quite competitive vis-a-vis China and Vietnam. As I mentioned, natural materials like wood, where India is actually the third largest exporter in the world. Natural fibers, again, different fibers from Vietnam, but again, very strong. Jewelry, actually, India is amongst the largest exporters in the world, both fine as well as fashion jewelry. And also a lot of natural stone and marble, stoneware that you see from India alongside Turkey. India is very strong at. I would say that even big companies like IKEA, Walmart are sourcing significant amounts from India today. Even cutting edge companies like Apple and more quality and performance oriented companies like Uniqlo are setting up their own manufacturing here in India. So I think the India that was 10 years ago is very different from what India is today. And I think what India will be in about 5 to 7 years from now. So it's a definitely good bet.
Yeah, sounds like. And of course, our audience are mostly private label sellers. And selling private label products means that you have to differentiate from your competitors. Differentiation means that you probably find a product which you like and you want to, let's say, do it differently or to customize. And I understand Qalara is providing product development services. Can you walk us through that a little bit? Talk how you do that?
Yes, absolutely. So this is the product customization, product development, I think is one of our core strengths, which you won't get on on sort of a marketplace or a ready to ship platform. So both for slightly, buyers who can maybe offer or buy slightly larger quantities, we have the whole suite of services from design, including 3D mockups, to product development and sampling. And then, both from, we can work backwards from tech packs that our buyers give us, or we can actually develop ranges based on briefs or mood boards or, direction given to us by the buyers. However, even for buyers who maybe are buying smaller quantities, we're able to offer quite a few options in customizing and tweaking the products in terms of colors, in terms of finishes, in terms of the shape, in terms of the size, all of that. And we're able to do that, quite efficiently, so that you're not really paying extra, just because you're doing customization tweaks to the product. And our data, like you rightly said, Augustus, often tells us that actually best sellers don't change a whole lot season on season. You kind of have to make some small tweaks to it to keep it fresh, the right colors in the right season and so on and so forth. So those are things that we understand and can enable quite easily. But for all customers, whether big or small, a custom branding service is also something that they can very easily avail of. We make sure that on the products, you can have your own tags, your packaging. If you even want something, your logo etched on it or printed on it, etc. For hard goods, especially, very easy for us to do. So it looks and feels like a brand and not like some mass-produced commodity. And something that I'm sure private label, sellers value.
Yeah, sounds good. So we talked a little bit about your company, and obviously you have some real case studies. Can you share with us some, how to say, the ways you worked with sellers and how you helped them?
Sure. So, like I said, we exist primarily to cater to small and mid-sized customers, and we're proud to say that we have served customers in over 60 countries. And these are Amazon sellers, other marketplace merchants, store owners, Shopify sellers, wholesalers, importers, even hotels and restaurants, and more. Over 65% of our customers are from English-speaking countries, so North America, US, Canada, UK, Australia. But then we also, of course, serve customers in a very wide spectrum of countries. And through some of our strategic partners, you can also see our products in some of the biggest retailers, from Home Goods to Container Store to TJ Maxx to Bloomingdale's to Hamleys to Waterstones to Tesco and many others. But Amazon sellers in particular, since that's the nature of your audience, again, we've worked with Amazon FBA sellers in particular, so very familiar with delivering goods to Amazon fulfillment centers and what that actually entails. Our biggest success story that I can think of in the US in particular, a customer from Florida. I think we've supplied goods that helped them deliver sales over $3 million. And I think our biggest impact there was on-time delivery to reduce their stockouts, and also consistent quality to improve their customer ratings. But at the same time, Augustus, we've also worked with Amazon sellers with orders as low as $3,000, and help them improve their margins and their multipliers. So it's a wide spectrum that we cater to. And we're very proud also that our repeat customer rate is really good at over 70%.
So it sounds like, you are working together with a big corporation in India, a big retailer, and it's nice, appreciated that you are serving small businesses, sellers which are even starting out or selling small quantities, and you are ready to help them. And yeah, if somebody is interested in some of your services, what would be the best to, I know, to reach you by email or by website?
Yeah, I would say, like I said earlier, definitely go to our website. It's www.qalara.com. And I think if you once you browse and you get a feel of the products, like I said, you're not limited to the products that are available on our site. But I think the best thing would be you could just go to our site, and Augustus has shown earlier the speak to a sourcing expert link. Just click on there, and you can book an appointment and just have all your questions answered, and they'll guide you through the process. As an extra perk for all of those watching this video, if you simply mention the code OrangeClick in the comments section while booking an appointment, or even if you enter the coupon code while placing an order, we'll make sure that you get some extra special offers. We will offer you free custom branding, as well as make sure that you have Amazon ready packaging at no extra cost.
All right, thank you very much for even offering additional treatment for Orange Click followers who will be contacting you. And so don't forget to use Orange Click code while reaching out to the sourcing expert or placing an order. And Aditi, I wanted to ask kind of a recap. So what services you can offer? Maybe you can list all these. You can mention like very quickly so people get a recap of, yeah, with what should they associate Qalara?
Right. I mean, I think the one main thing is simplify sourcing from India in a way that's hassle-free and that's cost efficient. I think that's sort of the headline. But in terms of different ways that they can shop or source or take help from Qalara, if they're looking to buy small quantities, there's a large selection of ready-to-ship inventory that we have all the time. They can always buy that. If they want something that's customized, small tweaks, they can come to our site, raise a request for quote, and then we'll enable that. If they're looking for something more design driven, then we can offer a more full package designed product development, and then the rest of it as well. So these are the three ways that you can source from Qalara, all in our effort to simplify sourcing from India.
That's amazing. So I'm really happy to bring news about Qalara to our audience.
Thank
And
you.
thank you very much, Aditi, and those who are interested in exploring to source your products, some of your products instead of other countries, to bring them to India. So talk to Qalara. You'll find the link below in the description. And thank you very much, and good luck in your business. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I hope this video will help you to explore sourcing physical products from India for your Amazon FBA business. If you are interested to get in touch with Qalara, you will find their links in the video description below. And don't forget to hit like if you enjoy the content we create, subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so, and leave any comments in the comment section below, and questions if you want to know more about sourcing from India. And now I recommend you to watch other popular video on how you could validate your ideas using Data Dive tool. So check this out.